pale afternoon sunlight rested on the windowsill of the small wooden house, Lily sat there, her short little legs swinging back and forth, her large round eyes sparkling with curiosity as she looked out at the world. Suddenly, her gaze stopped. Right under the porch, a wicker basket lined with golden straw lay quietly. Inside were pristine white eggs. After a moment of observation, she skillfully climbed down and tiptoed toward the nest. She didn't rush. Lily glanced around the yard, from the jackfruit tree to the fence. The surroundings were silent. Just as Lily was focusing intensely, a white blur flashed by. Bebe, a mischievous little goat, dashed out from nowhere with a loud "Baba!" Lily jumped. She whispered. She dashed into the house. Rummaged around for a bit and pulled out her favorite green plastic basket. Armed with her equipment, Lily squeezed through the wooden door and headed straight for the chicken coop area. Standing before the basket of eggs, Lily reached out a tiny hand and gently touched the smooth shells. Her eyes were filled with tenderness. With all her skill, she carefully picked up each egg one by one, placing them softly into her green basket, as if a single heavy breath might shatter them. After gathering 5 eggs and whispered, "I'll leave these for the mama hen. If I take them all, she'll be so sad she might cry." Just as she was about to stand up, a cluck-cluck sounded from afar. Lily froze, her ears perking up to listen. Fearing she'd been caught by the owner, she hugged the basket tightly to her chest and scurried back toward the porch. As she ran, Lily grinned from ear to ear, her cheeks flushed with excitement. Occasionally, she glanced back, pressing her lips together to stifle a giggle. Once she stepped onto the house threshold, she breathed a sigh of relief. Her eyes shone with pride. This was the first time she had completed such a dangerous mission. At that moment, Lily's dad returned from the market. His hands full of bright red tomatoes and fresh carrots. Lily excitedly showed off her surprise gift.
Ở đâu đây? Hả? Trứng ở đâu đây? Nè, ba mua đồ này cho Ly nè. À, chà chà. Để có trứng mình làm trứng với cái này nhá. Nhá. Rồi, qua đây nè các. Này. Ồ, ở đâu rồi Ly? À, đâu xem nào. Ui trời.
Her dad laughed, patting her head and praising her for being so brave.
Ba làm trứng ốp la cho Ly nhá, ốp la cà chua nhá. Được không? Ốp la cà chua nhá. Rồi đi qua đây. Nè. Ốp la cà chua nhá.
The two of them went into the kitchen together.
Đây, ba có đồ này. Làm trứng ốp la cà chua cho Ly nhá. Đây. Để rửa đi rồi xong mình làm nhé. Được không? Cà rốt ba mời không? Nhé. Rồi, ra đây rửa này. Đây là cà chua đi nhé. Rồi, vào đây này con. Đây, mình bỏ vào đây nhé.
In that cozy little space, Lily became the world's most helpful sous chef.
Bây giờ mình cắt cà chua nhé. Ly ngồi đây giúp ba nhé, được không? Đây ngồi đây. Giúp ba nhé. Đây ha. Đây chua nhé, được không? Nè. Rồi Ly bỏ kia đi. Đúng rồi. Đây nữa. Đây nữa con.
She helped her dad put the sliced tomatoes into a bowl.
Đây nữa. Đây nữa. Rồi, mình làm 2 quả thôi ha. Đây đi. Đây đây. Bỏ đây. Đây nữa. Đây nữa đi. Giỏi quá. Đây con. Đây luôn. Đây nữa. Đây. Giỏi quá. Bây giờ mình lấy trứng đi Ly nhá. Nè. Đó. Để mà chặt ra bỏ đây ha. Đó. Chú cha. Cẩn thận nha. Rồi, chào bà tí nha. Ly, ngồi con, đứng rồi. Ngồi ngoan nhá.
When her dad cracked the eggs from her heist, Lily used chopsticks to whisk them thoroughly. She was so focused that the tip of her tongue poked out as she stirred until the mixture was a vibrant, blended yellow.
Cho vào nồi mình hấp nha. Được không? Sườn trứng này ngon lắm, đúng Ly. Đó. Rồi, ok rồi. Rồi. Thấy không? Rồi, vào đây ba này. Đây mình hấp nha. Đây. Đặt coi. Và giữ Ly cẩn thận nhé. Rồi, ok. Giờ dẹp cái này tí nhá. Dẹp cái tí xong rồi mình ăn ha.
While waiting for the steam to rise from the pot of steaming eggs, Lily wiped the kitchen table clean, humming a wordless tune.
Đúng rồi. Ui, vẫn còn một quả Ly này. Trứng gà đi lấy ngoài vườn hả? Hay ở đâu? Nhưng mà sao ba luộc lên ăn mỗi lòng đỏ không ăn lòng trắng Ly? Hả? Thích lòng đỏ hả? Dạ. Hay là ba luộc cái này luôn nhé. Luộc không? Hay là dành? Dành nhá. Dành cất tủ lạnh nhá. Này bà cất ở đây nhé. Sôi đi kìa. Đó, thấy không? Đó. Sắp được rồi kìa. Kìa Ly kìa. Sắp được rồi kìa, thấy không? Kìa, đây này. Đây sắp được rồi này. Đó, sắp chín kìa. Đấy. Thấy không? Cẩn thận nóng nhá, đừng để tay vào đây nóng nghe chưa? Kìa Ly kìa. Sắp được rồi kìa, thấy không?
When the steamed eggs with tomatoes were served, fragrant and piping hot, Lily was already sitting at the wooden table.
Dạ, được ngon quá ha.
Her dad used a fork to feed her small, soft bites. The richness of the eggs combined with the tartness of the tomatoes created a wonderful flavor. Lily chewed happily, her eyes squinting with joy.
Không, bỏ tay à. Bỏ tay xuống. Bỏ tay xuống, đúng rồi. Sao? Ổn không? Không, bỏ tay xuống. Đây, bỏ tay xuống. Sao? Ăn cà chua ngon hơn hả? Bỏ đây con, bỏ đây. Đúng rồi. vào cái số đây. Đúng rồi.
Today's tomato egg soup was more special than any other day because it was seasoned with courage, sharing, and the deep love of a little girl for her family.
Đây. Đây đấy.
In a living room bathed in honey-colored sunlight, Lily lay curled up on a black and white striped hammock, enjoying a peaceful slumber. While she slept, her father quietly prepared breakfast. He sliced fresh carrots into bite-sized sticks, arranged them neatly on a wooden plate, and placed a bottle of drinking yogurt nearby on a small table reserved just for her. This preparation wasn't just a meal, it was a silent message. Daddy is always here, even when you can't see me. When the sound of birds chirping in the garden woke Lily up, the first thing she did was run through the house as she called out, "Daddy, where are you?" She peered through the glass door, looking out at the empty yard only to realize he had left for work early. A brief flash of disappointment crossed her face, but Lily didn't cry. Instead, she showed a surprising amount of maturity. She sat down in her chair and used her small hands to skillfully skewer each carrot piece with a fork. After finishing her yogurt, she didn't just run off to play. The thud of the lid closing was a testament to the wonderful discipline of a child raised with love. Hoping to find her father, Lily trekked out of the house, crossing a small trail through a dense banana grove. She observed her surroundings carefully as she walked. When she reached the vegetable garden and realized her father wasn't there, her longing for him sparked an idea. Seeing the lush green lettuce, she told herself, "I'll help Daddy prepare lunch." Lily went back home and brought out a rattan basket. She decided to harvest vegetables to prepare lunch for her father. Lily sat down beside the vegetable bed, using her tiny hands to pick the freshest lettuce leaves. She knew how to select them, taking only the green, clean leaves and arranging them neatly in her small basket. Once the basket was full of green vegetables, Lily carried the heavy load back through the banana garden toward the house to wait for her father. After waiting for a long time, Lily came up with another plan. She wanted to buy a cake for her father. However, after entering the code and checking thoroughly, Lily sadly realized she was completely out of money. Not giving up, a bold idea flashed in her mind. Lily quickly found a piece of cardboard and used crayons to carefully write "Sale 40% in a very professional manner. She pushed a small blue wheelbarrow into the garden. The tomato plants that her dad had carefully tended were now ripe and bright red on the branches. With skillful hands, Lily carefully picked each fruit and filled her plastic basket. She didn't forget to choose the largest, most beautiful ones, believing they would be easier to sell. After the wheelbarrow was full, Lily pulled it along the village road. She pushed the wheelbarrow, full of ripe tomatoes, the fruits of her father's labor, all the way to the town area. Lily chose her business location on the stone steps of a busy public area. She became a true entrepreneur with her hand-drawn "Sale 40% sign. She arranged the trays of tomatoes neatly, placed the discount sign in a visible spot, and began calling out in a very cute, childish voice, "Super delicious tomatoes here! Does anyone want to buy some?" accompanied by little dances to cheer herself up. Despite her enthusiasm, people initially just walked past, leaving Lily a bit disappointed. She even tried waving to invite people directly. Fortunately, a young customer stopped by. Lily immediately seized the opportunity, introducing her product proudly. These tomatoes were grown by my dad himself. They are very sweet and clean.
Chào bọn món cái gì? Món cái gì đó?
Lily's sincerity convinced the customer.
Cà chua ngon quá. Bán cho tôi nhé.
Okay.
After checking the freshness, the customer decided to buy and paid Lily $5.
2, 3, 4, 5. Cái này bao nhiêu? Ok. Thank you.
Holding the bill in her hand, Lily jumped for joy, repeatedly bowing and waving goodbye to the customer very politely. Holding the precious money she had just earned, Lily went straight to her favorite bakery.
Chào bạn nha. Chào bạn nha. Bạn mua gì? Mua bánh hả? Đưa tiền đây. Tiền đây. Rồi. Đây hả? Lựa đi.
After some consideration, she chose to buy 2 golden, fragrant waffles to take home to her father. On the way back, despite being in a hurry to get home, Lily stopped when she saw Sam the pig lying in the garden. Instead of keeping all the remaining tomatoes for herself, she affectionately fed them to Sam one by one. This act showed that Lily was not only smart but also a kind-hearted girl who always cared for her friends. Lily's kindness shone as brightly as the red tomatoes in her basket.
Ly đâu rồi ta? Ly ơi!
When Lily arrived home, her dad had just returned as well.
Ủa, Ly,
Dad,
đi đâu vậy Ly?
Lily excitedly showed off the results of her hard work, the fragrant waffles.
Đây. Tao có bánh ở đây này.
In return for his daughter's hard work, her dad had prepared milk and cookies in the fridge.
Ha. Con bóc thử thế nào. Đúng rồi. Ngon quá hả? Ồ.
Dad,
Ôi trời ơi. Cái ba hả? Thôi đi ăn đi con, ăn cái này đi. Đây này, đi ăn đi con. Ăn đi chứ.
The morning ended with a moment of the father and daughter washing vegetables together under the cool water. When her father prepared to wash the greens, Lily eagerly helped by pulling the water hose out to the yard.
Đây, ba làm đây. Đúng rồi, giỏi lắm. Ba rửa tay luôn đi, ba rửa tay luôn. Rửa tay luôn, rửa tay ba rửa luôn này.
Her father praised Lily's hard work and guided her to wash her hands under the tap before starting to prepare the food. The
Đây đây. Hay quá hả? Hay quá hả? Rồi. Cái này hư rồi nha, cái này hư Ly nè. Cháy rồi nha.
two sat together washing the vegetables. Her father picked off the old or withered leaves, while Lily learned how to rinse the greens in cold water.
Cái này bỏ đây ha. Vô này. Đây, rau vào Ly đây. Được không? Ngon đúng không? Thử xem thế nào nhỉ? Biết ngon không nhỉ?
Then, her father demonstrated how to cut apples into small pieces to mix into the lettuce salad.
Đây, cái này ngồi nhé. Ngồi ghế đi. Đây ha, ok.
Lily sat at the dining table, eagerly waiting for her father to feed her each bite of apple and vegetable salad.
Này cắn chứ, đúng rồi, không ăn hết một cái nhỉ.
She ate with great appetite, constantly asking for more and showing great delight in the fresh taste of the homegrown vegetables.
Đúng rồi. Salad rau.
During the meal, her father showed her a video on the TV of her picking vegetables in the garden alone.
Hết luôn nha.
Lily ate while pointing at the screen excitedly.
Giỏi quá. Chút xíu nữa thôi nha. Đúng rồi, hết luôn. Rồi, hết rau rồi. À đây còn miếng nữa này. Đây còn miếng nữa này. Đây. Giỏi quá. Con cầm đó. Con sửa hết rồi. Đây để bà này ha. Không vào đây nhé. Ở đây để bà dọn nhé.
After she was full, Lily relaxed on a yellow beanbag chair. She looked very comfortable, her eyes half closed as she prepared for a nap after a hard morning's work. But then, a call came from the white iron gate. Lily, come out and play. It was Kit, the neighbor boy, appearing behind the gate with colorful cotton candy in his hand to grab Lily's attention. Seeing Kit inviting her to play, Lily ran to the gate, but initially appeared very hesitant.
Trên TV nhặt nhà nhé. Ba cẩn thận không trộm nó vào đấy, chưa? Ha? Trộm nó vào nó còn hết đồ đi nhé.
The little monkey put her hand to her head and scratched it, showing indecision as she remembered her father's strict instructions. Lily stood before a choice: take a nap obediently as her father said, or step into a new adventure. Her hesitation showed through that innocent head scratch. But finally, childhood curiosity won. She slipped through the gap in the gate and took Kit's hand, running into the world of village paths. The two sat together on ancient stone steps. Kit shared a large stick of cotton candy with Lily, and she ate it with great delight. After finishing the treat, the two friends held hands and went deeper into the village paths. Lily climbed over old brick walls and through dense bushes to show Kit the green banana clusters and wild plants.
Đói bụng quá nhỉ? Không biết Lily nhà có gì ăn chưa nữa. Đây.
One of the most exciting moments was when they stopped by a green rice field, eyes wide with wonder as a long train tore through the space and sped past. Going further, seeing ripe oranges on a trellis,
Rồi.
Lily did not hesitate to climb high, weaving through the leaves to pick the fruit and share it with Kit.
Ly ơi! Ly!
They both sat on the ground to peel and eat the fresh oranges right there.
Đúng này. Nhà lộn xộn nhỉ? Ly ơi Ly! Đi đâu để nhà lộn xộn này? Đi đâu rồi?
Ăn không chưa?
Lily understood that while the outside world is vast, her father's love and sharing with friends are the sweetest things she could ever have. Lily and his dad lay asleep together on a simple wooden platform covered with a bamboo mat. The morning light began to filter in, signaling the start of a new day. Lily woke up first. Instead of rushing out to play like most children, the little boy chose to linger in the morning stillness. Observing the weary figure of his dad still deep in sleep, Lily's small heart swelled with a primitive sense of care. He gently nudged his dad's shoulder, his voice a soft, rhythmic whisper.
Gì Ly? Gì đây? Gì Ly?
When he heard his dad murmur, "I'm so tired, let me sleep a little longer," Lily didn't fuss.
Mệt nhé.
His gaze softened. He stood there, patient and quiet, like a little guardian, watching over his dad's slumber.
Gì vậy? Gì vậy? Gì? À. Sao? Sao? Đói bụng hả?
Despite his exhaustion,
Cái này mà mệt
the
nhé.
dad didn't forget
Ly mua-
his son's
mua
hungry
đồ
stomach.
sáng ha. Thấy chưa? Ly mua đồ giúp bà nhé. Mua cái gì ăn luôn ha. Nè.
He tenderly handed a banknote to Lily. Accompanied by detailed
Rồi,
instructions,
bỏ túi,
Lily
bỏ túi
accepted
vào
it
đi
with
nha.
both hands. He gripped the money tightly, not just for its value, but because it represented the trust his dad placed in him. To carry the food, Lily didn't go empty-handed. He searched for his familiar blue plastic basket. He carefully placed the money at the bottom of the basket, a gesture showing maturity and responsibility. Lily stepped out from the porch and headed toward the iron gate. The moment he pushed the gate open alone and stepped onto the deserted concrete road was both adorable and powerful. Lily walked briskly along the flat concrete path. The image of Lily, one hand carrying the blue basket and his little legs moving busily down the empty road, was incredibly endearing. He looked around with curiosity, occasionally stopping to observe the roadside scenery. After walking for a long time under the sun, Lily's pace began to slow. Reaching a certain stretch of road, Lily stopped, set the basket down, and took a rest. Standing in the middle of the road, Lily looked around tentatively. He was torn between continuing to the store or looking for something else. He turned into a small path leading to a lush green garden. There, amidst the dense foliage, he suddenly froze at the sight of a special orange tree. It wasn't a very tall tree, but its branches were thick and laden with round oranges. When Lily saw the tree, his eyes lit up. An idea struck him. If I pick these, I can save money for Dad.
Oh,
He approached,
Wow.
gazing at the clusters of ripe fruit with a mix of craving and excitement. He looked up, assessing the situation to pick the spots with the best and most accessible fruit. Lily began by picking the oranges on the lower branches within his reach. His small hands gripped the oranges, twisting them gently but firmly to snap them off. He carefully placed each fruit into the basket to avoid bruising them. To reach the larger, riper oranges higher up, Lily displayed his skillful climbing instincts. He gripped the trunk and nimbly scrambled up the sturdy branches. Even at a height, Lily remained cautious, using one hand to hold the branch and the other to pluck the fruit. He accurately dropped each orange down toward the blue basket. Once the tree was thinned out, Lily gathered the fallen fruit and neatly arranged them in his basket. He worked industriously until the oranges were piled high, reaching the very brim.
Ly chưa về rồi.
Looking at the basket heavy with these golden gems, Lily beamed with pride at his hard work. Lily decided to stop and enjoy the fruits of his labor. He sat down on the ground beneath the cool shade of the tree. Holding an orange in both hands, he used his sharp little fingernails to peel away the bright rind. The refreshing scent of orange oil wafted through the air as the peel came off. Lily peeled it meticulously, revealing the juicy segments inside. He popped a segment into his mouth and began to chew. Immediately, the sweet taste, mixed with a hint of tartness and the burst of fresh juice, flooded his mouth. Eating fresh oranges picked by his own hands right at the source gave the little monkey a sense of triumph and pure joy. Lily's face was the picture of contentment, his eyes squinting with happiness. The refreshment led Lily to eat continuously until the oranges in the basket were significantly depleted. He had eaten nearly half of what he had worked so hard to pick. Looking at the pile of peels on the ground and the half-empty basket, Lily suddenly remembered his original goal, bringing a gift home to Dad. Though the oranges were delicious, Lily stood up, picked up the basket, which was a bit lighter now but still quite heavy for him, and began the walk back. Despite his belly being full of oranges, Lily hurried to bring this joy home in time. He headed straight for the front gate with a radiant face, ready to give the surprise to the dad waiting for him. When Lily stepped into the house, his dad was now more awake and waiting for him. He leaned down to look into the basket, then at Lily's hands. The most moving moment was when Lily didn't just offer the oranges but also held out his tiny hand. Lily returned the banknote his dad had given him that morning. The bill was still crisp and flat, not a single cent had been spent. Dad took the money, his expression shifting from surprise to deep emotion. A tender pat on the head and a sincere thank you from his dad were the greatest rewards Lily could receive.
Cảm ơn Ly nhé.
Dad picked up an orange, inhaled its scent, and praised Lily's choice. He stroked Lily's hair, his eyes brimming with pride. Seeing that Lily had walked a long way and looked thirsty, Dad immediately thought of a reward. He told Lily to give him the money and the fruit, and in return he would give Lily some milk.
Con cầm cái này này. Đây, đóng Ly đây. Chưa được đâu. Đây là đây. Đây, con cầm cao này đó. Đúng rồi, cắm chặt chưa? Đúng rồi. Đây cẩn thận nhé.
The story closes with a scene of profound peace. Lily happily enjoying his reward of milk, while the dad slowly savors the sweetness of the oranges.
Ăn no là vẫn uống được nhiều sữa vậy Ly.
A sweetness that comes not just from the earth, but from the budding filial piety of a small soul growing into maturity. That morning, her dad left the house early after preparing breakfast for his daughter. As soon as she woke up, Lily showed what a well-behaved little girl she was. Remembering what her dad had taught her, she carefully folded her blanket neatly on the bed before leaving the room. Lily went straight to the bathroom for her morning routine. She picked up her toothbrush and brushed thoroughly on her own, without needing any reminders or help. Once she was ready, Lily stepped into the living room.
Oh,
There, she saw a plate of apples her dad had prepared on the table. Lily sat obediently in her chair and fed herself. She smiled happily, whispering as she ate, "Dad is the best. This is so delicious." After finishing, she didn't forget to clean up, carrying the plate and the food cover back to the kitchen, a meticulous habit that her dad was always proud of. After eating, Lily realized her dad was nowhere to be found. Sensing the unusual silence of the house, she went to the door and saw that it was pouring rain outside under a leaden gray sky. Lily began to grow restless, leaning against the doorframe with eyes full of worry. Where is Dad? Does he have an umbrella? Is he getting wet? These frantic questions made her small chest tighten. The loud drumming of the rain only added to her anxiety. Instead of just waiting, Lily decided she had to find him. She found a straw hat and put it on. Then she took a large blue plastic bag, tore a hole to poke her head through, and turned it into a DIY raincoat to protect herself. Small and swallowed up by the oversized blue plastic, Lily bravely stepped off the porch. The freezing rain lashed against her face, and the puddles on the yard made her tiny legs tremble, yet she pushed on. Amidst the roaring storm, Lily's cries of "Dad! Dad, where are you?" sounded fragile but full of longing. She trudged through the mud toward the large trees in the distance, the place she guessed he might be sheltering. Her eyes searched frantically, not missing a single bush or corner. Finally, under an old ancient tree by the road, a familiar figure appeared. Lily's dad was huddled there, soaked to the bone by the sudden downpour. When he looked up and saw a tiny creature in a straw hat and a blue plastic bag shivering toward
Lily?
him, he couldn't
Trời
believe
ơi.
his eyes.
Mưa mà Lily đi đâu đấy? Ướt hết quần áo rồi con. Này, thấy chưa? Mang này cho ba hả? Trời ơi, cảm ơn con nhé. Cảm ơn nhé.
Dad, put this on or you'll get sick.
Ba chờ
Lily
mãi đấy.
held out the raincoat
Hay quá, trời mưa.
she had
Ha.
brought,
Ừ.
her voice
Cảm ơn nhé.
breaking from the cold but overflowing
Nhanh
with
về nhé,
care.
mưa.
The dad's heart melted.
Xong rồi đi ơi, đi về thôi con. Đi về thôi. Ha.
He immediately stood up and swept his daughter into his arms. He was both heartbroken by her recklessness and deeply moved by her extraordinary courage. Lily hugged her dad's neck tightly, tucking her head into his warm shoulder. All her fears vanished, replaced by a sense of absolute safety.
Không ấm ơi Lily nhé. Được chưa? Nào, đi đây nè. Đi vào đây bà sấy cho Lily nhé, được chưa? Nào, con ngồi đây. Đây, mà sấy đây.
Back home,
Sấy cho Lily
her
con Lily
dad
ốm
quickly
chưa?
used a hairdryer to dry Lily's
À,
hair
đứng lên nào,
on her
đứng lên nào.
freezing hands.
Hết áo rồi kìa. Rồi, ra đây cởi áo cho thay đồ cho Ly nhé. Thấy chưa? Đây nào. Nào cởi áo này. Cởi áo này. Cởi áo này. Đúng rồi. Cởi áo cho bạn nào.
He gently changed her into a fresh dress that smelled of sunlight and rewarded her with a warm carton of milk to boost her immunity.
Xem với nghe. Nghe. Kìa, lấy tủ đi. Vào đi con. Con mang cái ghế ngồi đi. Đấy. Sao? Đây. Đây ha. Đây. Đúng rồi, giỏi lắm. Cảm ơn Ly nhá. Thôi ba đi thay đồ đi nhá. Nhá. Áo của hết rồi này. Thay đồ nhá.
Lily drank it all and then reflexively tossed the empty carton into the trash, a habit that was truly in her blood. Once things settled down, her dad sat beside her, took her small hands in his and said in a low, soulful voice, "My Lily was very brave and loves me very much, and I thank you for that. But next time, please don't go out alone in the rain like this. The thought of you being in danger hurts me more than getting wet ever could."
Ly ơi, dậy thôi.
The morning sun peeked through the window slats, signaling the start of a new day. In the small room, Lily was still curled up in her blanket like a lazy caterpillar.
Làm gì đây?
Lily,
Dậy
wake up,
sáng
honey.
đi học rồi, Ly
You'll be
ơi.
late for school.
Nhanh trễ nào.
The only response was a suspicious silence.
Dậy đi học nào, trễ rồi nè. Làm gì trời?
Her dad pushed the door open, a hint of worry rising when he saw his daughter lying motionless.
Hả? Sao dậy đi học hả? Để anh sáng
He
đi học
approached
nhá.
and tapped her shoulder gently. "Lily, can you hear
Mẹ
me?"
nè. Có mẹ nè. Oh.
Lily stirred slightly,
Oh,
her
hả?
eyes glazed, and her face wearing an
Mẹ hả?
expression of extreme exhaustion.
Nè ha. Thôi nằm nghỉ đi nhé, nằm nghỉ đi ba kiếm cam cho Ly nhé. Đây. Đây, trời. Mắt mũi toàn nhèm nhỉ. Sao vậy?
She breathed heavily,
Qua trời nắng về đây
playing
mệt
the
à?
role of a sick person with total
Trời nắng
commitment.
đẹp mà đúng không Ly? Hả? Mệt hả? Đúng hả?
Her dad's
Oh,
rough
hả?
but loving
Oh, hả?
hand touched her forehead. Then he carefully checked her eyes. Seeing her so lethargic, he blamed himself. It must be because of the rain yesterday.
Ở đây kiếm cam cho Ly uống nước nhé. Uống cho nhanh khỏi nhé.
With a dad's heart, he immediately surrendered. "All right then, you can stay home today. Let me go make some orange juice so you can get better."
Ngoan nhỉ? Thôi nghỉ nhé. Hôm nay nghỉ ở nhà không đi học nhé. Được không? Chưa. Thương quá. Có mệt thì nghỉ nhé. Thấy chưa? Mệt nghỉ chưa? Ok. Thế bà đi bắt cam rồi dậy uống nhé. Mang vào cho nhé.
The moment his footsteps faded down the hallway, patient Lily was instantly resurrected. As if by magic, the fatigue vanished. She bounded up like a spring, her eyes sparkling. Driven by a growling stomach, Lily crept into the kitchen like a tiny spy. She gently lifted the food cover, her eyes lighting up at the sight of a fluffy, steaming hot bun. Without hesitation, she grabbed it and took a huge bite. The soft dough and savory meat filling made her want to cheer. She ate hurriedly, savoring the taste of victory from her perfect performance. But don't get too happy too soon. A faint sound came from the gate. Lily's heart hammered. She quickly shoved the rest of the bun into her mouth, flew back to her room, dove under the covers and pulled them up tight, trying to regulate her breathing to sound sickly. Her dad walked in, but an adult's intuition made him suspicious.
Lily. Lily ơi. Bà xem nào.
Lily was still lying there, but her exhaustion seemed a bit over the top this time.
Ủa, bình thường mà Ly. Đâu sao đâu. Nè. Oh. Ủa, bình thường mà Ly. Đâu sao đâu. Trời, cái gì đây? Đang ăn gì đấy? Ăn gì đấy? Mà xem nào. Ăn gì đấy?
White crumbs of the bun were scattered on the bed, and some were even stuck to the patient's chin.
Có phải không? Ăn gì vậy? Ăn gì
He
đây?
gently peeled back the edge of the blanket to
bao
tuck
đúng
her
không?
in when the evidence appeared.
Bánh bao nấu cho Ly mà.
Her dad stood frozen,
Cho ăn này để đây.
caught between amusement and helplessness.
Giả vờ ốm rồi ăn không chịu đi học. Ly không được hư nhá, không được giả vờ ốm hay chưa? Nghe rõ chưa? Đừng có lười nhá.
He realized instantly that his daughter had just completed an expedition to the kitchen.
Đi vào ngủ đi chưa?
Instead of getting angry, he only sighed softly, his gaze kind but firm.
Ăn giờ đi
Lily,
nhá.
was the bun good? Next time, don't bring food to bed and don't lie to me to skip school. Lily knew she had lost completely. She scrambled up, her face flushed red with embarrassment, but still sporting a mischievous grin.
Lấy chưa mới cho đi ăn kia. Cho Kim ngồi rồi ba lấy đồ ăn mới cho đi nhé. Được chưa? Đó, bằng rác nhé. Bây giờ đây đi ngồi đi, đây ngồi đi con. Chờ chị Ly ơi, xong rồi. Chờ ba tí. Đây, xong rồi đây. Cứ cam nhé. Xong rồi đi, con ghế ngồi đi con. Cam của bạn hả? Nó bỏ thịt xuống, bỏ xuống. Cam ngọt quá. Ngon không? Đúng rồi. Ăn giỏi đi học nhé. Đi học có bạn cho vui nhé. Giỏi đó, đúng rồi. Đây này. Rồi, đúng rồi đấy. Rồi, hết luôn. Rồi, đây con. Hết rồi, ăn đi con. Ăn đi. Ngon quá hả? Rồi đây con, đưa đựng thịt con. Đây là phần của ba nhé Linh nhé. Đi ăn phần của ba đấy ha. Đừng ngoan Linh nhé. Không được bỏ cái thế nhá, đừng giả vờ nhá. Ngon quá ha. Nhìn Liên ngon quá Linh. Đấy đấy ha. Xong cho Linh. Ngoan nữa hả? Ăn hết đi con, ăn hết đi. Ăn hết đi. Đúng rồi, ăn hết đi con. Ăn hết xong rồi đi nhá. Không ngoan nữa hả? Ôi, tôi bỏ đây cho ba nhá.
After being escorted to the living room to finish her vitamin-rich orange juice, Lily finally had to heave her heavy backpack onto her shoulders.
Đúng rồi. Đó. Nào quá hả? Để ngủ nhé. Ui chà. Để ngủ trả đi nhé.
The morning ended with the image of a strong dad hoisting his naughty daughter into the car. Even though the plan failed, in Lily's heart, the warmth of her dad's arms and the sweetness of the orange juice remained the best way to start a new day. This afternoon, Lily walked home from school by herself. Unlike other days, her dad's gentle smile wasn't there waiting at the gate. The house was unusually silent, save for the heavy rhythmic ticking of the clock. Suddenly, a fit of dry coughing erupted from the bedroom, shattering the stillness. Lily rushed in, panicked. Before her eyes, her dad lay motionless on the bed, his face pale. Lily's tiny heart tightened. She stepped closer, using her small hands to lightly shake her dad's shoulder. Leaving her eyes filled with insecurity and fear. Her dad's silence felt like a dark shadow looming over Lily's mind. Refusing to let panic take over for long, Lily quickly recalled what her dad used to do whenever she was sick. She dashed to the living room, nimbly climbing onto the top of the refrigerator to grab the thermometer. When she saw the number 39.0 degrees Celsius flashing bright red on the screen, Lily gasped.
Oh my gosh!
She clutched her head with both hands, her lips trembling with worry. This high fever was like an invisible enemy that Lily had to defeat at all costs. Lily frantically searched through the medical kit. She flipped through every blister pack and bottle. Her eyes showed extreme hesitation. She tried to dig through her memory for her dad's past instructions, but everything felt jumbled.
Oh,
In her confusion, she scratched her head fretfully and decided to grab a random bottle to give to her dad.
Thuốc ở đâu chả? Trời ơi, vâng, ôi cảm ơn Ly nhé. Anh đây ăn. Trời ơi. Ba mệt quá. Ăn thuốc cho bà hả? Trời, cái mang cái gì đấy? À. Đi mang thuốc cho bà uống nha. Này. Cái đây ha. Cảm ơn Ly nhé. Được chưa? Lo lắng quá hả? Ừ. Sao ha? Được chưa? Hay uống sữa. Hay sữa uống ha. Nhé. Được không Ly? Hả? Bụng khó chịu quá. Đặt thì ra đây nhé.
However, her lack of experience led to a regrettable mistake. Instead of reducing the fever, that medicine made her dad feel worse, forcing him to run to the bathroom repeatedly. Watching her dad's frail back, she blamed herself. Turning guilt into action, Lily decided she had to find reinforcements herself. She opened a wooden chest and took out the precious gold coins she had been saving. Under the pale afternoon sun, a small, resilient figure ran down long corridors, through a dense garden, and straight into a vast, shimmering cornfield. Lily's legs began to ache and sweat soaked her fur, but the image of her dad, groaning with fever, kept her moving. It wasn't just a trip to buy medicine, it was a journey of maturity and responsibility.
Ly, bữa nay ghé cửa hàng mua cái gì Ly? Ly mua cái gì Ly? Tiền Ly đâu? Tiền Ly đâu? Ly lựa đi.
At the pharmacy, Lily faced a great temptation. Right next to the counter was a box of fragrant, colorful pastries, something Lily had always dreamed of having.
Ly đừng muốn đáy bánh này
For
à?
a moment, she was drawn in. But then, the sound of her dad's cough echoed in her ears.
Bố bạn bị sốt hả Ly?
Lily decisively waved her hand, pushing the box of cakes aside. With a determined look, she pointed to a box of cooling patches, as advised by the pharmacist. That self-control was a testament to the great love Lily had for her dad. Her dad's health was more important than any sweet treat in the world. When she returned home, Lily was no longer frantic. She gently peeled the cooling patch and carefully placed it on her dad's forehead, as if handling a treasure.
Gì đấy? Đúng rồi con. Cảm ơn nha. Dễ chịu quá Ly à. Dễ chịu quá. Cảm ơn Ly nha. Này hả? Cảm ơn nha.
Her small hands tenderly massaged her dad's head, her eyes never leaving her dad's face for a single second.
Ly ơi, đi lấy sữa uống đi con. Ba đỡ mệt rồi nha. Đi đi con, đi lấy sữa uống đi con.
breaks, and the world is still deep in slumber, the video opens with Lily curled up snugly in her blanket. When everything's ready, he prepares to leave the house on his familiar motorbike, heading towards the local market or store. There, Dad carefully selects fresh fruits and other essential items, all prepared for Lily's meals and activities throughout the day.
Dad.
While Dad is out, Lily's curiosity and mischievousness begin to stir. After waking up and exploring her familiar home, Lily decides to embark on an outdoor adventure. With a small backpack on her back containing her favorite carton of milk, Lily confidently sets off. At first, everything's new and exciting. Lily delights in gazing at the colorful flowers along the roadside, listening to the birds chirping sweetly on the branches, and chasing after vibrant butterflies.
Oh,
When Dad returns home, he immediately goes looking for Lily. He finds his little daughter, and the two of them return to their warm home immense relief, washing over Dad. Immediately, Dad sets about preparing a meal for Lily. He carefully takes fresh, ripe grapes, washes them thoroughly, and meticulously cuts them into smaller pieces, ensuring they're just the right size and easy for Lily to eat.
Ly ơi, Ly ơi, dậy thế nào? Ly, 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 Ly ơi, Ly, 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 Ly ơi. Không đã.
Just then, Lily spots a passerby in the distance. With what little courage she has left, Lily runs towards the person and squeaks softly, her eyes full of hope. The man is surprised to see a small monkey looking lost. After Lily tries to express herself with gestures, the kind man realizes she might be lost. With warmth and helpfulness, the man points Lily towards the familiar path leading back to the area near her home. Lily's heart beats faster as familiar sights gradually appear. Finally, from a distance, Lily sees her beloved home. She lets out a joyous squeal and runs quickly towards it, silently promising herself never to wander off and forget the way home again.
Đưa đi uống này. Chắc mới đi qua đây. Lily, Lily ơi. Em ơi, em có thấy cái cảnh đi này không? Lily đi xuống đất chị ăn đó. Đây. À, ôi giỏi quá, đi đâu vậy hả? Ly, con đi đâu về? Đi đâu vậy? Hả? Đi đâu ba tìm miết vậy hả? Qua đây ôm nè, đây ôm nè.
At mealtime, Lily sits at her small table, savoring the grapes with great delight. Dad occasionally feeds Lily individual pieces of grape, like a parent caring for their child, creating warm and intimate moments. Every gesture demonstrates the boundless care, patience, and unconditional love that Dad has for Lily.
Lấy ba lô đi. Ba lô đây hả? Hả? Ủa? Ngồi đây hả? Đưa ba lô cho ba nào. Đây. Đấy. À, hết đồ rồi, hết đồ ăn rồi. Hả? Hết đồ ăn đói bụng hả? Lấy ba lô đi về nhá. Đi về nhá. Nè. Đi về nhá. Đồ đi lung tinh đấy nghe chưa? Nè. Đứng lên đây ba lô ra. Đây chưa, đi về chưa? Ha? Đi về. Đi. Ra đường đi nhá. Đi mua đồ ăn cho Ly này ha. Cái cây cho Ly này. Thấy không? Nè. Cái cây này. Đó, nè. Thấy không? Thấy không? Đó, sao đừng đi lung tung đấy nhá. Thấy chưa? Thôi bây giờ đi rửa trái cây ăn nhé. Nhé, để ra đi rửa trái cây đi. Nào, đi nào. Nè. Để trái cây ăn nhé. Đây, đi ngồi đây. Đi ngồi đây các. Đây. Làm trái cây ly nhé. Trời, nho ngon này. Thấy không? Làm chùm lên luôn không? Hay làm chùm nhé. Ha, làm chùm này nhé. Đi rửa nhé. Thêm một chùm nữa ly nhé. Đây. Đây, qua đi rửa nhé. Nè, tính lên con, tính lên. Nè. Rồi. Đây qua đây. Đây. Đấy. Con bỏ kìa. Đúng rồi. Đây đi, bỏ đây. Ở đây này. Thấy không? Đây này. Nó rơi kìa, rơi kìa. Đó. Cái để bên chùm này nha. Nha. Đây. Chơi không? Đây. À. Đi này. Rồi đi ra ghế đi. Ghế đi. Đây, đi ra. Rồi đi ăn đi. Đúng rồi. Đây này. Đấy. Ngon hả? Ngon hả? Đâu rồi? Đâu rồi? Đâu rồi? À, cảm ơn Ly nhá. Này, cắn này, phải cắn ăn nhá. Cắn ăn đi. Đúng rồi. Ăn xong rồi giặt quần áo nhá. Đi quần áo rơi rồi kìa, thấy không? Đi ra ngoài bẩn rơi rồi kìa. Đúng rồi, đó, cắn vậy, đúng rồi, không ăn cắn nữa. Đúng rồi, cái này bỏ nhá. Này bỏ này. Đây. Ngon hả? Ngon hả? Ngon quá hả? Chờ bóc ra, chờ bóc ra. Đúng rồi, bóc cho Linh nha. Đây, con ăn đi, đúng rồi. Đúng rồi đấy. Ăn nhau mà tách vỏ. Dữ vậy trời, hả? Dữ thần luôn vậy trời. Đấy, ăn nhau lấy vỏ. Còn đây nữa mà, còn đây nữa mà. Đây.
We witness Lily enthusiastically engaging in a game of basketball. With a large yellow ball, the little monkey repeatedly tries to put it into a small hoop. Despite the disproportionate size, Lily's persistence and clumsy shots can't help but make viewers smile at her adorableness. After those active moments, Lily seeks relaxation. She tries to get comfortable in a small, pretty hammock. Though she struggles a bit to find the perfect spot, Lily eventually settles in, half closing her eyes and enjoying the peaceful swaying of the hammock. As the morning progresses, Lily hears a familiar sound. She quickly runs out to greet Dad returning home. Dad carries a large bag filled with fresh, delicious fruits, likely special treats for Lily.
Rồi, cảm ơn Ly nhé. Tao mua cho cây cho Ly nè. Thấy không? Nè. Cho Ly xem này, thấy không? Đã không? Nè. Rồi, đây bây giờ là ba làm cho Ly ăn nhé. Đi nào, đi nào. Đi xuống nào. Đúng rồi, đi nào. Cái đồ ô trên luôn hả? Đi nào. Hôm nay chơi ba làm đồ ăn nhé. Giờ con ngồi ngoan nhé, để ba làm đồ ăn cho Ly ha. Được rồi, cái này để ba rửa rác nhé. Con ngồi đây. Đó. Nè, đâu, cho xem luôn. Thích không? Cậy ra đi, con cậy ra đi. À đúng rồi, cậy chỗ này đúng rồi đấy.
In the kitchen, Lily doesn't just watch. She helps Dad prepare a fruit snack. She shows particular interest in the juicy grapes and ripe yellow bananas, sometimes even trying to touch them with her tiny hands. Dad patiently peels slices and meticulously prepares each piece of fruit.
Thấy chưa?
Afterwards, he feeds Lily the prepared fruit, and Lily happily uses a small fork to enjoy each bite, looking just like a baby eating solid food.
Đấy. Đây xem. Cầm đấy. Cầm đấy. Ăn kem ở đấy không? Ăn kem không? Đây được chưa? Rồi như vậy thôi nhé. Nhé. Để con bỏ cá vào đây đi. Rồi. Rồi. Đi đây. Đi đây. Đi. Đứng lên đi cái ghế đi. Đúng rồi. Rồi, ngồi yên đi. Đấy. Ly vào đây chơi nhé. ngồi ăn ha. Ba làm nghỉ tí nhé. Nhé. Hôm nay mệt ha. Ăn từ từ thôi. Đúng rồi. Đi ngồi ăn đi nhé. Ăn nghỉ xíu ha. Đi lên. Đi đấy. Ừ. Ba mệt tí thôi nhỉ. Ha, không sao đâu ha. Ừ. Ừ. Thương ba hả? Ừ. 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 Thương nha. Nha.
In the afternoon, while Dad is sound asleep, Lily surprises us again. She gently wakes Dad and brings him a bottle of water as if reminding him to drink, or simply wanting him to wake up and play. This action clearly shows Lily's special care and affection for Dad.
Đi đây ngồi này. Đi đây ngồi đi. Đây ngồi. Ngồi đây. Ngồi thẳng đi nhé. Thì ba tự ngồi cho nhé. Ngồi luôn hả? À, tới đây ba tự ngồi cho nhé. Cảm ơn Ly nhé. Ừ. Ừ. Ngồi đây, ngồi đây. Ngồi xuống đi, ngồi đấy. Đi giỏi nhỉ. Ừ. Lấy nước ở đâu đấy? Ừ. Lấy nước ở đâu đấy? Không phải đâu. Ừ. Anh nghỉ tí nhé. Nào, đi.
The sky outside was bright and clear, but in the small house, Lily's world was confined to her study desk. The little girl, in a yellow shirt and a pair of scholarly glasses, looked just like a tiny scholar immersed in the endless treasure trove of knowledge from her laptop. Her intense concentration seemed to make the space stand still until a familiar voice called out, "Dad's gonna work now!" After quickly putting his things away, the dad put on his jacket, ready to leave for work on his green motorbike. The joy of their reunion was short-lived. Lily's eyes drooped as she ran to the glass door, waving her tiny hands goodbye. Watching her dad's figure disappear down the dirt road, Lily turned back to the beanbag, where sadness and loneliness enveloped her. Her empty stomach began to rumble, urging Lily to take action. A bold idea flashed in her mind. She would cook her own lunch. It was a dramatic mission. The first enemy was a packet of noodles on the towering kitchen shelf. Undaunted, Lily began to build a precarious and dangerous tower out of nearby boxes. Holding her breath, she climbed up, stretched out, and finally seized the prize. After getting the noodles, she skillfully tore open the packet.
Yummy.
Put the noodles in a pot, and then fetched water from the dispenser to pour in. Every step was carried out with care. After putting the noodles in the pot, the next challenge appeared. The iron monster. The gas stove. Lily mustered all her courage and turned the knob. With a whoosh, a blue flame flared to life. She was startled, but quickly calmed herself, sitting patiently on a nearby box with her chin in her hands, waiting. Just then, her dad returned. The delicious aroma of instant noodles filled the house, surprising him.
Mẹ coi này. Đây. Đây coi. Bánh mì hả? Ở cái cây ly nhá, được không? Đây nhá. Đó. Nè. Không, ta nấu cái gì đây? Cái gì vậy? Nóng đấy, nóng đấy.
Seeing his little daughter's creation, he was both amused and a little worried.
Được rồi, đây.
My girl is so clever, but next time you must wait for Dad to come home, okay? He said, stroking Lily's head.
Cái này nhá. Được rồi. Đi đi, đi.
He quickly seasoned the noodles and served them on a wooden plate.
Nóng đấy. Rồi, qua đây. Đây. Được. Ừ.
Lily picked up her small fork and happily ate her creation.
Đấy. Ừ. Đây là gì? Ừ. Đó. Ừ. Ăn xong rồi bạn lấy cây đi ăn nhé. Được không? Cho thử miếng này.
However, knowing that too many noodles weren't healthy, her dad only let her eat a little to satisfy her craving, then gently said, "All right now, let's have some fruit for dessert to be healthy."
Đi ngồi ghế đi con. Ghế. Đây. Ngồi lấy tiền của mình đi. Có một kìa nha. Ăn đi con.
The cozy lunch ended, and the dad had to leave again for his work digging in the fields. Lily was alone once more. The sky suddenly darkened like a giant velvet curtain. The first drops of rain began to fall, pattering on the eaves. A mischievous idea came to her. Lily ran out into the yard, stood under the rain, and began to bathe in a basin that was already full of water. But the joy didn't last long. The wind began to blow hard, carrying an icy chill. Lily shivered, hurriedly ran inside, and changed back into her clothes.
Dad.
However, it was too late. The chill had seeped into her small body. Before long, she started to feel unwell. Her head spun, and her body burned with fever. Exhausted, she climbed onto the bed, instinctively seeking the warmth of the pink blanket, and curled up, trembling. When her dad came home from work, he found the house unusually quiet. "Lily, I'm home," he called. But there was no reply. He rushed into the bedroom, and his heart seemed to tighten. Lily was curled up on the bed, her breathing heavy, her face flushed red. He touched his daughter's forehead. The searing heat terrified him. "Lily, what's wrong?" he asked, his voice hoarse with worry.
Xem nào, ôi trời. Hình như ốm đúng không? Ừ. Hay bảo tắm lạnh chi? Ừ. Nước ở đấy bạn để làm thôi chứ đã tắm ở đấy đâu. Nelly, hả? Đừng có tắm nhé. Lúc nào tắm bảo vào nấu nước nóng tắm hay chưa? Trời lạnh nhá, chứ tắm ở đấy được đâu nhá. Nước là để làm việc thôi nhá. Thấy chưa?
Without a second's hesitation, he rushed outside to a small market.
Bán tàu ngô đó kìa, cô kìa, kìa. Đúng rồi, cái cân cho này không? Đâu có cân, con nó không cân. Cô nó bún máu.
He hastily bought a few of the freshest carrots and potatoes. Back home, he immediately went to the kitchen, his nimble hands peeling and dicing them before putting everything in a pot to cook a nutritious cold remedying porridge. When the porridge was fragrant, Dad carefully tasted it, then poured it into a bowl, blowing on it to cool it down before carrying it to the room. He sat beside the bed, gently lifted Lily's head, and tenderly fed her, spoonful by spoonful.
Đi nha.
There's a good girl. Eat a little to get strong.
Nóng hả con hả? Cháo nó ngon lắm đi nha. Và thử ăn thôi nha. Đúng rồi đấy, ngon không? Ngon đúng không? Đấy, nó bảo rồi mà ăn ngon mà đúng không? Cháo nó ngon lắm đi nha. Và thử ăn thôi nha. Đúng rồi. Đó, thấy chưa? Khỏe thôi nhé, ăn về là sớm khỏe nhá. Ngon quá. Rồi con ngồi dậy đi, con ngồi dậy đi, ngồi dậy, ngồi dậy, ngồi dậy. Đúng rồi, ngồi yên nào, ngồi yên đúng rồi. Đúng rồi. Ở đây nhá. Ngoan nào, ngoan nào. Đúng rồi. Đấy. Đúng rồi, giỏi lắm con. Lau sạch nhá, rồi con nằm xuống đi. Nằm nghỉ nhé, chưa? Tí đã tiếp nhé.
Seeing his daughter was still running a high fever, he took out a cooling patch and gently placed it on her forehead.
Hết á. Đây là mật ong ha.
After that, he carefully gave her drops of liquid medicine. Every one of his actions was filled with love, worry, and tenderness.
Được không? Đây.
Lily, though exhausted, could feel it all. She lay quietly in her dad's care, and the fever and discomfort seemed to lessen somewhat because of his boundless love. Outside, the rain had stopped, leaving behind a fresh, clean atmosphere, just as the storm of sickness inside Lily was gradually being pushed back by the devoted care of her great dad. Under the golden afternoon sun, the clever little monkey named Lily skipped happily home after a long school day. With a cute little backpack on her back and a wide-brimmed hat, Lily looked just like a diligent schoolgirl. But just as she passed through the gate, a strange feeling washed over her. Lily instinctively glanced back at the empty road, feeling as if someone was watching her from a distance. "I must be overthinking it," Lily muttered to herself. She shook her little head, chasing away the unsettling feeling, and quickly ran inside. Leaving the strange feeling behind, Lily entered the house and immediately showed her tidiness. She carefully took off her backpack and hat, placing them on a cabinet before running to the living room. It was time to relax. Lily flopped onto the soft armchair, grabbed the remote, and turned on her favorite cartoon channel. Her kind dad had already prepared a plate of juicy red apples. Lily happily sat at the table, picked up a fork, and enjoyed each crisp, sweet slice. But a moment later, Lily suddenly felt her stomach churn uncomfortably. Perhaps the apple was a bit cold. She winced and hurried to the restroom to relieve herself. It was while Lily was in the restroom that a strange figure stealthily snuck into the house. The very same person who had been watching her earlier. When Lily came out, her small heart felt like it would leap out of her chest. A complete stranger was brazenly rummaging through the cabinet in the living room. Terrified, Lily quickly hid behind a wall, peeking out with bated breath. The thief found nothing of value and headed straight for her dad's bedroom. He flung the door open and began scanning the room. Seeing this, the initial fear in Lily's heart began to fade. In its place, anger and a powerful thought ignited in her mind. This is my home. I can't let a bad guy destroy it. With her courage surging, Lily no longer hesitated. She looked around, grabbed a nearby red plastic back scratcher to use as a weapon. With a determined cry, Lily charged into the bedroom, raised the back scratcher high, and relentlessly attacked the thief. Ambushed by a small but fierce homeowner, the thief panicked, screamed, and fled for his life. The brave Lily chased him all the way to the door, making sure the danger was truly gone. After the thief had vanished, her burst of courage faded, and Lily felt her whole body ache with exhaustion. She slowly walked back inside, climbed onto the soft bed, and sat down, still panting from the recent fight. Just then, her dad walked in, saw the scene, and understood everything. He gathered the little monkey in his arms, gently stroking her small back. His eyes were filled not only with relief, but also with immense pride and love for his brave little bodyguard. The next day, the story began as Lily, on her way home from school, became so engrossed in admiring strange flowers along the road that she turned down an unfamiliar path.
Trời, Ly đi đâu giờ này chưa về nhỉ?
The further she went, the more foreign the scenery became. and she realized she had wandered so far that she was lost.
Lily. Lily. Đi đâu đâu biết nữa. Lily. Lily.
Panic began to creep into Lily's little heart. She stood helplessly in the middle of a large garden, looking around in confusion.
Dad.
Just then, the sound of a motorcycle echoed in the distance. A strange young man drove past, his eyes fixed on Lily, making her feel uneasy. He made a loop and came back, deliberately driving very slowly, as if sizing her up. Her instincts told her this was not a good person, so Lily immediately turned and ran. In her panic, a clever idea flashed in Lily's mind. She quickly took off her hat and intentionally dropped it on the path, hoping to throw the bad guy off her trail.
Lily.
Then, Lily quickly veered in another direction, dashing into a cornfield with stalks towering over her head and hiding among the dense rows. From her safe hiding spot, Lily carefully peeked out. Just as she had predicted, the young man stopped and began searching the area around it. Only when the sound of the motorcycle had faded completely did Lily dare to breathe a sigh of relief.
Lily ơi, Lily. Lily ơi. Lily ơi. Lily.
Although she had escaped the bad man, she was still lost. Lily ran to another spot, stood on some old steps, and tried to call for help, hoping a kind person would hear her. And then, like a miracle, the familiar figure of her dad appeared in the distance. He had been searching everywhere for his little daughter. Seeing Lily was safe, her dad rushed over. He didn't scold her at all. He just gently pulled her into his arms, stroking her small back, which was trembling with fear.
Bạn thấy quần áo đây nè. Mũ này, mũ rơi vào lấy tìm thấy cho Ly nè. Nè, cô bé nè.
Her dad's warm and loving embrace chased away all of Lily's fears.
Sao đi về luôn nhé. Thấy chưa? Chưa? Đi học chứ đi về nhà nhé. Đi về làm đi ăn nhé Ly nhé. Chưa? Đỡ bụng lắm rồi đúng không? Quay đi nào, quay đi Ly.
Finally, she was safe in her father's arms and on her way home. The afternoon sun streamed through the glass window, casting a golden glow across the living room where little Lily was sitting alone. She was gazing idly out into the yard when the door creaked open. Dad was home.
Hi Ly.
But today, he didn't look as cheerful as usual. Instead of wrapping his little daughter in a big hug, he wearily sat down on the long sofa, wincing slightly. He rolled up his sleeve, and Lily, from her little chair, saw a long reddish scrape on his arm. Lily's big, round eyes were fixed on the wound. Dad was hurt. Without a moment's hesitation, she slid off her chair, her little feet pattering towards the medicine cabinet that Mom kept on the shelf. An idea flashed in her mind. I have to help Dad. Clatter! She hugged the first aid box and proudly walked towards her dad, like an important doctor on a grand mission. Her dad looked at his little daughter in surprise. "Sweetheart, what are you doing?" Lily said nothing, simply placing the box on her dad's lap and pointing at the wound. Her dad smiled, a warm smile despite his fatigue. He opened the box, taking out a cotton ball and a bottle of antiseptic. Instantly, Lily snatched the cotton ball and, imitating her mom, gently dabbed at her dad's scrape. Her tiny hands were clumsy, but full of gentleness. After disinfecting it, Lily looked at the roll of bandages. Understanding her intention, Dad tore off a Band-Aid and handed it to his daughter.
Này mình quấn xíu là mình đỡ anh chưa Ly nè. Này đi cầm này cho ba này, cầm này cho ba nhé, cầm này.
She carefully, meticulously peeled off the protective paper and placed it on her dad's arm, even patting it a few times as if to make it stick better and make his pain fly away.
Ngồi yên ha. Đúng rồi đấy. Cầm đây này Ly, cầm đây. Cầm đây, đúng rồi, cầm đây. Cầm đây, đúng rồi, cầm đi. Ngồi yên đi. Xé đâu nha, xé này. Đó. Thấy chưa? Đó. Bỏ cái này giá thứ ba nhé. Đây, này. Con bỏ giá thứ ba đấy kìa. Bỏ đi con. Rồi, sao đâu? Cảm ơn Ly nhé.
Her dad looked at his little daughter, his heart overflowing with love. The physical wound no longer stung because it had been healed by the purest and sweetest love in the world. He lifted Lily up and hugged her close. Thank you, my little nurse. He lay down on the bed, placing Lily on his stomach. Her tiny hands patted his belly gently, as if to check if her hero was truly okay. In the quiet room, only the love between a father and his daughter was shining, warmer and more tender than the sunlight outside.
Đi chợ ba có lâu không? Ngồi đi chợ ba có lâu không? Hả?
The next morning, Dad excitedly pulled a brand new, crisp white shirt from a shopping bag. As soon as she saw it, Lily's eyes lit up. She let out an excited, "Ah!" clasped her hands to her head, and bounced up and down on the spot. The new shirt was so beautiful. Dad laughed at his daughter's adorable reaction. He carefully put on the new shirt. Every movement was slow and deliberate. He smoothed the shoulders and adjusted the collar until it was perfect. When he was done, he looked at Lily with pride, as if to ask, "How do I look?" Lily watched her dad with bated breath. The moment he turned around, she clapped her hands enthusiastically. The white shirt made her dad look so handsome and different. Unable to contain her admiration, Lily rushed over, wrapped her arms around her dad's leg, and nuzzled her little head against it. Her action was the best compliment of all, saying, "My daddy is the most handsome no matter what he wears." Feeling the love and admiration from his little daughter, Dad happily bent down and stroked Lily's head, his eyes sparkling with joy and pride. After admiring it for a while, he carefully took the shirt off, folded it neatly, and placed it on the table before leaving to do something else, completely unaware that this very shirt was about to become the centerpiece of Lily's next adventure.
Chờ xíu. Ra này nhá. Ra ngoài có mấy đồ ăn phải nấu ăn chưa? Đưa mình ăn cơm nhé.
Seeing her dad's beautiful shirt on the table, Lily couldn't hide her curiosity. She wanted to try on this grown-up shirt just once. Even though it was huge on her small frame, Lily struggled to put it on. The shirt nearly touched the floor, and the sleeves were incredibly long, making her look quite funny. After trying it on, Lily pulled the shirt off and sat down to enjoy her favorite yogurt. But her joy was short-lived. While she was eating, she accidentally dropped a smear of yogurt onto the pristine white sleeve. Seeing the stain on her dad's new shirt, Lily panicked. Afraid of being scolded, she decided she had to fix her mistake herself. Lily quickly grabbed the shirt, ran to the bathroom, placed it in a blue bucket, filled it with water, and began to scrub it with all her might. After washing it, she lifted the soaking wet shirt out and put it in a white plastic basket. She carefully dragged the basket out to the yard, found a sunny spot, and hung the shirt up to dry. Just then, her dad returned.
Áo gì đây trời? Các bạn đây. Đi làm gì cái áo mình đây? Đi.
He put down his bag and called out, "Lily!" Hearing his voice, Lily jumped. The memory of the stained shirt flooded back, and she was terrified.
Đi ơi. Đi. Đi ơi.
Without a second's thought, she ran and hid.
Đi.
Her dad, puzzled, looked for her and finally opened the wardrobe door. He found Lily huddled silently in the darkness. He gently asked, "Lily, what are you doing in here?"
Đi sai không? Dạ lơ hả? Lơ hả?
But she remained silent, too afraid to answer.
Ly làm rơi cái áo của bà đúng không Ly? Có phải không? Áo mới mua mà làm rơi rồi. Ly bà sao Ly nhỉ? Tao buồn Ly nhỉ? Áo mới mua đấy.
Seeing this, her dad didn't press further and quietly closed the door before going to the bedroom and lying down on the bed. From inside the wardrobe, Lily could sense the silence and perhaps her dad's sadness. Filled with regret, she slowly stepped out of the closet and tiptoed to the bedside. She used her tiny hand to pat her dad's back several times. a sincere apology. Feeling his daughter's remorse, Dad slowly turned over.
Sao? Biết lỗi rồi hả? Biết lỗi rồi đúng không? Thôi qua đây, qua đây.
Lily rushed to him and threw her arms around his neck. Dad wrapped his arms tightly around his little girl. In that moment, all anger and sadness melted away. Dad understood that no matter how precious the shirt was, it could never compare to the love he had for Lily. The warm hug replaced any need for words of forgiveness, affirming that their bond was the most precious thing of all.
Để nằm một luôn đi ha.
Her sharp eyes quickly spotted an attractive target, a papaya tree laden with fruit. Without a moment's hesitation, Lily was determined to conquer the tree. She tried to climb the slippery trunk, but her small body made the effort difficult. Despite her persistence, the height of the tree remained too great a challenge.
Đi đâu đi? Hả? Đi đâu con? Nào. Kẹp ba làm gì hả? Sao? Ra đây nào. Ôi giời. Kẹp ba làm gì nào? Kẹp ba giúp gì hả? Kẹp ba giúp gì? Sao? Kẹp ba giúp gì Ly hả? Đâu cứu à? Thôi đi nào, đi. Đi, đây cầm tay nè, cầm tay ba này. Cầm đây. Cầm tay ba. Đây. Dắt ba đi chứ. Đi nào. Đâu, chỗ nào đâu, có xem nào. Đâu. Đâu, gì vậy? Trời, từ từ. Đâu. Đâu. Các bạn xem nào. Đâu, có cái gì đâu. Đâu, chỗ nào đâu. Đâu. Đâu, có cái gì đâu. À. Chiến hả? Cao ha. Cao lắm. Thôi xuống đi con, xuống đây. Đây chờ ba tí. Xuống đi con, xuống đi. Ui trời. Đi nào. Đi nào, đi mượn thang này. Cậu ơi. Cậu cho mượn cái thang xíu. À lên cả. Đúng rồi. Đấy, có cái này nữa được nhá.
Seeing his little daughter's determination, yet helplessness, her dad came to help. He used a long pole, skillfully raising it, so Lily could hold on and reach the papaya. With this help, Lily succeeded. She reached out, picked a ripe yellow papaya, and happily brought her prize down to the ground.
Đây nè. Đây nè, làm hai cái đầu này nhé. Được không? Làm cái cò bằng đi luôn đi. Chờ đi ha. Đây, ngồi đây. Ngồi. Chào bạn đi nhé. Rồi. Ở đây nha. Đi bỏ cái cho ba đi. Bỏ đi con. Đúng rồi. Bỏ đi con. Đấy lắm. Đây nữa này. Đây nữa này. Bỏ đi con. Bỏ nhát đi con. Đúng rồi. Đẹp quá ha. Đi lựa ha, thì các bạn cho cái phần lớn nha. Đây bỏ ra gắt ra. Cái này cái nhựa nhé, cầm nhựa nhiều bạn không được nhé.
Back in the kitchen, her dad carefully washed and peeled the papaya.
Giỏi quá, chờ bạn ý nhé, bắt rửa cái nhựa đã. Rồi, nói ở đây. Sao, không thử không? Cái này bỏ đây ha. Bóc nha. Cái đắng đấy nhá, đừng ai cái đấy nha. Ngồi im con. Rồi, chào bà tí nha. Đây, bắt cái này nha.
Then cut it into small, bite-sized pieces for Lily. She sat beside him, her eyes fixed on the golden papaya pieces, and didn't forget to help her dad by tasting a few pieces herself.
Sao, ổn không? Thấy được không? Đây, vào đây này. Đây nè. Thơm ha. Ra ghế đi. Giỏi quá.
When it was officially time to eat, Lily sat at a small table just for her. She skillfully held a fork, slowly savoring each sweet piece of papaya.
Ngon quá ha. Cho ba miếng nha. Ngon ha. Bỏ đây. Để xuống nha. Để xuống đi. Đấy con. Rồi này. Có đóng tủ lạnh. Để giúp cho. Đây ha. Đó. Đấy, cắm chặt vào. À, đúng rồi. Đúng rồi đấy. Cắm mạnh con. Cắm mạnh vô. Cắm mạnh vô. Cắm mạnh vô. Đó.
After finishing the fruit, her dad also treated Lily to a carton of milk. The clever monkey put the straw in and drank it deliciously satisfied after a hearty meal.
Ngon quá ha. Thấy chưa? Còn cách nữa. Thôi bây giờ ăn xong rồi ha. Bây giờ là mình đi trả thang nhé. Trả thang cho ông nhé. Thấy chưa? Thấy chưa? Mời của ông trả thang cho ông nhé. Cái này mang cho ông ít đủ không ăn ha. Ha. Đi ha. Okay. Bây giờ cái này nhá. Nè, cái này bỏ lạnh ly nhá. Cái này mang cho ông ha. Cái này mang cho ông nhé. Được không? Đây, đi. Đi mang cho ông. Nè. Đấy, trong một than bớt được quả là phải cho ông nhé. Rồi, đi thôi. Ông ơi! Ông ơi! Tao lên điểm thang nhá. Để đâu nha. Đấy ha. Ông đóng rồi. Đấy, cho ông biết.
Dad and Lily were still fast asleep, a peaceful and warm image. But the early morning silence was quickly broken by the energetic little daughter. Lily stirred awake. Her sparkling black eyes opened wide, and immediately she started the new day with a familiar game, waking up her dad. Lily jumped about gently, nudging her dad, bringing a start to the day, full of laughter and adorable mischief.
Thấy chưa? Cái đi mua gì về ba nấu cho Liam nhé. Được không? Này, cho đây. Cần đi mua gì ra về ba nấu cho Liam nhé. Được không?
Thank you.
À, đi đi.
Dad gave Lily a little money, like an important mission. And the vehicle to carry out this mission was none other than a stylish pink toy car. Lily nimbly climbed into the car, gripped the steering wheel, and confidently drove out of the house. The image of a little monkey driving a toy car down the village path created a scene that was both amusing and delightful.
Hello?
Lily's destination was a garden or a small market, a place filled with fresh fruits and vegetables.
Huh. Thank you.
Ủa, Lily, đây là hả? Thôi đi nào. Đây, trời ơi, để tao đỡ tao nhé. Đến đây, con ngồi đây. xuống mũ xuống nào. Trời ơi, vất vả quá ha. Đi lái xe đi rồi đấy, giỏi quá rồi. Chờ ba tí, chờ ba tí. Đây, bắt cái này đi ha. Rồi, chờ ba tí nhá.
The kitchen became more lively than ever. Dad took a large pumpkin and began to cut it. And beside him was a tiny, incredibly enthusiastic sous chef. Lily watched occasionally, reaching out a hand to help, creating a joyful scene of cooking together. In the end, their reward was a delicious pumpkin dish, and they both sat down to enjoy the meal they had prepared themselves.
Áp luôn cái này cho Ly nhá. Ly bỏ đây đi. Bỏ đi đi. Đây nhá. Đây nữa. Đây nữa. Đây nữa. Đây nữa. Cho hạt cho Ly nhá. Được, được. Đây Ly. Đây nè. Đây nữa. Đây. Rồi. Rồi vào đây nè. Để luôn cho ba Ly. Lấy cái lại cho ba Ly. Ồ. Xem này. Chờ một xíu nhá. Thấy chưa? Cái này đi nhá. Đây ha, tí rồi mang ha. Con ngồi đây. Và lau này đi cho Ly ăn nhá. Thấy chưa? Đi cả đấy. Lau lên sạch nước nhá. Cô nhá. Vào đây đi. Đây không phải nóng nha. Ngon quá. Đi vào nha, nhiều quá ha. Đây, ngồi đấy đi. Ngồi đấy. Ngon không? Được chưa? Đã quá ha. Đây vào đây ha. Ngon ha. Đấy ngon lắm con, đúng rồi đấy. Ngọt ha. Đây cắm này, cào này ha. Đúng rồi, ăn như vậy đúng rồi đấy. Ăn bí là tuyệt vời nhá Ly nhá. Ngon lắm chưa? Đây đây. Đúng rồi. Đây. Cái tay này vào đây, cái tay vào đây. Để vào cắm tiếp đây. Đúng rồi. Đây. Thơm quá ha. Sợ nó ngọt đấy, đúng rồi đấy. Sợ ngọt lắm. Gì ngon quá. Ăn đi vào lấy nữa cho nhé. Ăn đi vào lấy thêm nữa cho. Đưa một cái thìa này. Lấy thêm cho Ly một miếng đấy nha. Ăn nữa không? Hay để lát ăn nhé. Nhiều quá ha. Đổ ăn nhé. Rồi đây là cái đi nhé. Cái đi ha. Đi nó ăn nhé. Đây đi. Đi con thay đồ đi ha. rồi, bây giờ nó đi rồi. Xe đúng rồi. Chưa? Rồi đang vội nữa chứ. Cậu ơi, con mở xe nhá. Lily, bà xin lỗi nhá, bà đến hơi muộn nhé. Xin lỗi Lily nhá, bà xin lỗi nha. Bà xin lỗi nha, đừng có giận ba nha. Chờ ba lâu không? Bà xin lỗi nhá, được chưa? Xe bà bị hư nên ba đến hơi muộn nhá. Chờ ba có lâu không? Chắc lâu lắm không? Trời ơi, xe hư nha, đừng có giận ba nhá, được chưa? Xin lỗi nha. Đi đâu Ly? Hả? Đi về mà. Đi đâu vậy? Đi chờ ba xíu. Rồi giận. Quá. Qua với Ly ơi. Đi, chờ ba tí. Sao đây? Con đừng có giận ba nhé, xin lỗi nhé. Ba xin lỗi nha, được không? Xin lỗi nha. Thôi về bà nấu món ngon cho Ly ăn nhá. Nhá, được không? Ha. Và về bà nấu một bí ngon cho Ly, được không? Bí hấp Ly thích nhá. Để không giận nữa nha. Đồ muối cho Ly hả? Đây, đồ muối cho Ly nè. Ôm nào, ôm nào. Bên đây nào. Đúng rồi, không giận nữa nha. Về bà nấu món ngon cho Ly ha. Ha. Được ha. Rồi. Nhìn nha. Bà nói cho mọi người đi. Nào ngồi im con, đúng rồi. Về nhà rồi ha.
They went to a peaceful countryside area, a place with lush green fields and brilliantly colored flowers. Not only did they ride the motorcycle, but the father-daughter pair also rode a bicycle together, enjoying the fresh air and the freedom of nature.
Trả xe nha. Chưa? Xe đây ha. Rồi, bánh đây ha. Ăn nha, nấu đi ăn nha. Nấu đi ăn nha. Nấu gì ngon ăn nha. Đi ngồi đây nha. Đừng mũi các bạn ạ. Cặp. Đi chặt hết. Đây bà lý này. Đây ha. Còn ghi đi con. Chặt hết. Còn đây con. Đây nữa. Đây nữa. Đây đi. Đây nữa. Đây nữa. Đây nữa. Đây nữa. Mày bị hết nhé. Mày rửa xong rồi hết nhé. Bỏ ghi đi con. Bỏ ghi đi con. Đúng rồi. Bỏ đi con. Đây đi. Đây đi. Rồi, cảm ơn đi nha. Rồi, bắt đầu đi cho nó đi. Rồi, bắt đầu đi cho nó đi. Rồi, cho nó đi. Đi nha. Tí nha.
He meticulously cut pumpkin and tomatoes into bite-sized pieces. Lily waited patiently and then ate her dinner deliciously, ending a long day full of interesting activities and overflowing with the love between a father and his daughter.
Đấy là xe đón tí được này. Này đưa thấy không? Chưa? Này, thấy không? Đó. Nè. Không đi. Đó đâu? Đó đâu? Ngon quá hả? rồi. Sang ăn nữa hả? Ngoan đi cho ba này.